So we're streaming. Cool. So we're streaming. I'm gonna start in just a minute. Hold on, guys. Tweet has been sent. So, hello everyone. I am streaming. Pull up my dashboard, check out my viewer count. Hey, I got some people watching. Cool. Switch to my external camera. Yeehaw. So here we are, part 2 of the Hurdy-Gurdy assembly. I have not touched it since the last stream. Outside of maybe moving the bench brush, I've turned on the AC in the garage, so it might be a little bit noisier. Uh, it was 99 degrees here today, and this AC's managed to keep it right around 82 for most of the evening, so I'm okay with that. Just a little portable unit. So last time, waxed the gears on this. Yeah, maybe over waxed them a bit, but it'll come off with use. The assembly hasn't fallen apart on its own, so that's good news. And we did 2 pages in an hour and a half. We are now on page 6, which is page 3 of the assembly. And boy, is this a fun looking one. Looks like we have some planetary gear setups here where we will have, a base support, a large gear that we then put a bunch of planetary gears on, and then at the end we'll be putting in the sun gear, putting that into an orbital gear. Planetary gear systems are cool. They're used in drills a lot. They're also used in industrial automation for conveyor belts because they'll use brushless DC motors, which are really high RPM, to the tune of 10,000 and above RPM. And you can't run a conveyor belt with rollers running that fast. You have to basically gear it down to a couple hundred to a couple thousand RPM. So they'll use these planetary gears because it transmits torque really well. Um, your drills use it obviously, and they'll actually engage different gear sets to change the speed of the drill. You know, you'll also have variable speed DC motors in there and stuff. Uh, really cool stuff, really robust design. It seems overly complex, but it's very handy. I need sheets 1 and 6. As I mentioned last time, these are numbered way up at the top. Will you focus? Yeah, number 3. Okay, there's 1. This looks like it's 6. Yes, this is 6. So we will take this assembly, set it off to the side, And let's see here. Got 3 of these little guys for this step. I know it must be riveting to watch me cut all this stuff out, but I'm gonna stream all of this assembly, whether you like it or not. While I'm thinking of it, last stream I was watching the viewers. Thank you for those of you that are watching. And I saw a Commander Root, and I was like, I've seen this person on other streams. I wonder who they are. Apparently, it's a bot that's supposed to be helping out small streamers by just saying, hey, we have a small streamer live, and let's see what we have. Let's see if we can just give them a viewer to help drive viewership. I don't know if it's, you know, done by Twitch or what, but whoever set it up, thanks. Getting these viewers up, kind of a big deal. Hey, Bion Boy. If I'm not mistaken, that is Luke. Got to look at the screen more now that I have people actually watching. And you know what, Luke? Let's do this. Congratulations, you're now a mod. You can moderate this whole nothing going on. So go to the back, cut the gear. Ah, a razor slipped. It's gonna drive me crazy. Yes, you get all the power, but you also get all the responsibility. Might have to adjust the AC because it's getting warm fast out here. There's a gear. And let's see here. These little sub-carrier boards need to come out because we're going to use all 4 of these. Thank you, designer, who put these sub-carrier parts in. Because instead of having to work with this whole massive piece, I can work with this. Makes it so much easier. Hopefully the stream quality is staying good. The other half is streaming 7 Days to Die in the other room. We've never done 2 streams at once on the internet, especially with our internet being on a temporary line right now, because a house construction across the street cut the main internet line to my end of the street. Thank you, plumbers. Hey, 4 viewers. Nice. Who all do we have? Thank you guys for watching. Oh, Josh, are you in there? Lots of little tiny pieces being cut. Uh, I'm sure this is fascinating. This piece kind of wants to come out on its own. Oh, hear noise. Oh, okay. It's not coming across on the mic. Oof. And this is exactly why I cut the little hold downs before I pop it out. You see there, got a little splinter sticking off. I mean, it just popped off on this piece, but hopefully I won't run into a situation where that doesn't happen. This piece, so hopefully you guys had a good weekend. My weekend was rather rough. Friday we had to have the house AC repaired. That's always fun. And then Saturday drove an hour and a half to drop a kiddo off at an airport. Luckily it's Father's Day. You guys wish your fathers happy Father's Day. Talking to you, chat. And a scrap piece. My daughter actually remembered to call her father. That was rather nice. We moved to Austin, Texas last weekend. Oh, good. Ready for stand-up Monday? And another fun week with the big boss man back? Actually done with part 1. And get this nice part 19 here. Yeah, okay. Let me pop one of these out so you could see this. This is actually kind of nifty. Heh. I can give you plenty of stuff to work on. I'm just not your boss. So this piece here is the orbital gear. And kind of to show you, you can see it there. There's the sun and one of the moons that'll orbit the sun, or one of the planets that orbits the sun, right there. We'll pop this guy out. He's the only guy off of this piece that I need to worry about right now. Still need to get the Duresta ice pick out. But I have a feeling at this point in the build, it's not going to be that needed. Gonna fall out, or do I have more pieces? It'll fall out. Of course, I have to take part number 51 out of the center of this. Careful. Actually, while I'm thinking about, okay, I do have the Twitch alerts. I was teaching the girlfriend today how to use the Streamlabs Twitch alerts, and she went all gung ho on it, finding all of the animated GIFs for subscribers and stuff. She's actually up to 47 followers. Which is good for her, because it's the closest thing she can do to work right now. I hope not. See if it has any stats. Well, I've dropped 0.8% of my frames. So I think it's probably your end, man. You know, eventually I'll set up a YouTube channel and you can always watch it on there when I get that taken care of. Of course, who knows, with two of us streaming at the same time, it might get a little bit jumpy and laggy. That's kind of a fun piece. Because this outer shell, yeah, it's scrap. I'll take it into the office at some point and throw it at people. So there's all the pieces. So let's get started. It doesn't say I need to. It does say I need to wax a bunch of them. Hooray. Just like last time. Just rub a bunch of wax on. The heat of the garage in the summer will actually heat up the wax enough that it'll penetrate into the wood and I'll get a nice smooth surface for these gears to mesh on after a day or two of it sitting out here. And then whatever's left, it will just rub off in usage. Yeah. The wax starts off like this, and then over the course of working a gear, see if it'll focus on this, gets a nice groove in it. Of course, I set this down. Where did I stop? Oh, I was close. There it is. Right, I waxed that. This was part 15, if I'm not mistaken. Did I pop out the wrong part? Oh, I did miss one too. That is the sun. Oh no, it's these little ones that I haven't done yet. So much detail on this. One of four. That'll work. So just waxing this whole thing. Obviously, this is just a big rehash of a lot of the stuff we did before. I don't feel like I need to walk you through every little detail. Just gonna power through it to get to the more interesting part of actually putting the blasted thing together. Let's see here. Getting hot in here. Gonna have to turn the AC on. Cool. It's not picked up by the mic. That's kind of why I'm using the headset instead of like a desktop condenser or something. Just because the headset mic filters out a lot of noise that honestly I don't think you guys would appreciate hearing. Man, come on. Oh, that one's got a little splinter on it. Carve it off. Oh, I probably should have hit record as well just in case my internet connection does go south. Yeah, better late than never. So for this first step, oh, I guess I needed 4 of these, not 3. There's no identifying marks on this wheel. So I guess either way will work. They've both been sanded, so they both should be fairly smooth. Okay, and these little T-pin things, yeah, they fit in nicely. But is there a good way? I mean, you can put it in, if I can hold the thing right. There we go. Like this, or like this. And they show it going in like that, where They go in line with the rotation of the wheel as opposed to in line with the spokes. So perpendicular to the spokes. They said to wax these holes. I'm not doing that simply because I don't really feel a need to torture myself. But you know, to each their own. If you want to do a bunch of extra work, knock yourself out. Let's see here. Headset's still going. Actually gonna mute my desktop audio and get some noise going. That this thing doesn't, my headset doesn't fall asleep on me. There we go. Fun thing about this headset is I actually rather like it. It's a SteelSeries Arctis 7, and for the 150 bucks it costs, it actually can be tuned to sound quite decent, unlike the Logitech G933 I had. But just like the 933, it has this wonderful feature where if it doesn't have audio going through it, it turns itself off. Well, that's fine. Except for situations like this where I don't want to listen to anything, I just need to use the mic. And on the Logitech, you can turn that feature off or set how long it has to go before it'll turn itself off. This guy, no. So here it is with the planetary gears in place. And even though I'm skipping a bit of a step, there's the sun gear. There we go. And it does a really cool thing where, if I can show it, all the gears are supposed to turn together. Although it's really hard to do without a axle in there, because everything has to be spaced just right. You don't see a lot of planetary gears on homemade stuff simply because, yeah, accuracy kinda matters a bit. So this piece, call it a X, according to the book, to me that looks like the skinny piece faces, or the skinny side faces away from me. This guy goes up, and this guy goes on top. Not a real tight fit there. I mean, you can see there it is sticking up, and it drops all the way to the bottom. Well, they apparently know what they're doing. Then this goes through. Then that goes through. I had one more piece that I didn't pop out. That should secure all of this. That's this tiny little number 18. Would have been nice to have these on a little subcarrier that I could break apart or something. Because, boy, they're tiny. Held in place by two tabs. That's what they're called. Tabs. I remembered something. Aren't you proud of me? And this all fits together. Said it all fits together. Yeah. It's a little wobbly, but I'm sure. Hmm. Do I have anything small enough that will hold this? Sorry for going off camera. And yeah, I've got a little thing there. So, fun problem here. Uh, this axle goes from this end to this end. And it's retained by this tiny little piece up top. But tiny little piece isn't fitting all the way on, and I've got a lot of wobble here. So typically, I'll actually take a piece of scrap wood and make it and drill a hole in it just the size of the center pin. But to save time, got some needle nose pliers. That I can actually place it on and give it a little love tap with the hammer. Wobble is significantly reduced. That's just to do that. You know, if I really needed tight wobble or tight fitment, I would actually grab a piece of wood, drill a hole, and tap it in. And then we can take this. This apparently needs waxed on the inside. Makes sense, because we've waxed every other gear. With this, we should actually be able to see the planetary gears moving. How smoothly, I don't know. But if they're not too smooth, they'll smooth out with friction just by rubbing up against each other. They'll just need a little persuasion. So, skinny side away from me, lower side there. Yeah. See if I can get a good shot of this. There's a planetary gear system. Actually, for as little care as I put into this, it's working really nicely. And if I go all the way around, yeah, that's real cool. Now, in this system, the sun gear's not actually driving anything. So I think this... Oh no, it is using it as a gear reduction. So, well, or is it? No, because usually what happens is your sun gear would be like the drive off of a motor, and then this would hold it in place, and with the planets going around, it would drive this gear back here, and you'd get a reduction. But this, sun gear isn't actually driving anything. Yeah, the more I work this, the smoother it gets. So it's probably being used actually for a resistance, but it's still a very, very cool mechanism. And that's one page down. I was thinking I'd only get one page. Wow. Be right back. AC unit says it's dropped down to 80 in here. I'm all for it. Ah, yeah, that adjustment won't work because it blows on the mic. A lot better. So now we're on to page 7. Page 7 looks really easy. We'll start up here. It says we really only need 2 pieces off of panel 2. And as you can see, it's just a matter of getting everything lined up and putting these side panels on to hold the gear assembly together in place. So card 2. It's probably at the bottom of the stack. I don't think I've pulled anything off of it. Yep, all the way at the bottom. So, didn't notice this before. This piece says this goes on the inside. They're trying to give you hints on orientation of pieces where it really matters. Even the 2 pieces that I'm about to take out, which are 21 and 20, which are these 2 here, they have little arrows on them to show you which way. And they even call it out on the instructions with these little red exclamation marks saying, hey, that's where the arrow goes. Nice touch, guys. Very nice touch. So flip this over. I have little bits of wax all over the workbench. Oh no. And cut these pieces out. 1, 2. That one was already broken. 3, 1, 2. Maybe there wasn't one there because this one only has 3. You know, again, it shows waxing these pieces together. I'm not going to bother. I lay it like that. That. Friction fit it together. Oh yeah, that keeps the alignment real nice. I wonder if this mechanism is for, you know, friction or if it's for show or what. Either way, it's super cool looking. You can see it's got a cutout here, and this is where a gear will engage up top. That's pretty nifty. (11:10), 11:09 p.m. Oh, and this is starting to put the body together, so I will set this aside. And I'll do this, and that'll probably be my last step for the night, simply because I have to go to work tomorrow. Loads of fun. But you can see it's all a bunch of big pieces that just kind of slide together. And then if I'm lucky, tomorrow night I can do some more. So I need 2 and 7. The 7 has this fancy schmancy piece. But I only get 1 of those. Find tabs. Cut it out. You don't push them straight out, they'll get caught and break. Yeah, nice detail on this piece. Then we've got these 2 big pieces and the piece labeled with the inside bit. Cool. By a lot of tabs on this guy. They probably could have gotten away with 4 since he's so big. They're doing 4 at least on each long side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this inside edge. Those 2 were already broken. 1, 2, 4. 2. That 3rd one was already broken. And big bada boom. So this one is 23. This one is 22. I start with 22. Oh, and this actually has me using the hammer. I kind of wanted to put this together, but I didn't want to do anything off stream because the hammer looks real cool. Let's see if I need it or not. And then this piece. They go, yeah, like that. Yeah, you totally don't need a hammer for that. Obviously, make sure the side that says inside is on the inside. And then we take 23 and put it on. Tap, tap, tap. kind of wobbly. I don't think that really matters. Yeah, it says orient like this. Grab this. Shove it in as far as it'll go, or is it supposed to line up with something? Do I have this right side up? Oh, I see, okay. No, I don't have it right side up. That would explain a lot. Do I even have this right? I clearly don't. So, fun bit of trivia when you need to undo some parts like this. Don't need a ton of force. Just need a light tap and a lot of patience. So, this piece goes like that, and that goes like that. Aha! I see now, says the... Yes, that makes a lot more sense now. Of course, they show this going in and like staying in place, but I see where we'll actually have some pegs or something that'll hold this all together. Because otherwise it's just going to do that if I pick it up. Then they show off on this piece. It may look like it's the same on both sides, but this side actually has some little square notches cut out right here. And they line up with these two holes on the side here. So it actually will fit like that. And you can see that the holes, you see the darkness, line up perfectly there. And then there's holes on the other side right here that fit in between everything. I've really put some good attention to detail in here. 1120, 1119. See if I can do some work on the other side. I don't really want to stop in the middle of a page, but I have a feeling I'll be okay. So this shows parts 26 and 27, which are basically the same thing, pop off the little subcarrier. Except some are long, some are short. Might be easier to read the numbers that way. And of course, there's two sets of them for a total of, looks like 5 of each. '27s are the short ones, '26s are the long ones. And this shows that we'll use 4 of each in this step. That's actually what's going to hold this together. So we've got 26 and 27. Seven, and of course I'm listing these backwards. But that's okay, I'm working on this back of the assemblies. Two, two, two. Cut, cut. Cut. Ah, nice and 81 out here. Hence the sweat all over my brow. So, guess we start off with this side, which is 25. A 26, which is a long piece. And it shows it with, well, it's kind of hard to see because I have to hold the piece. It shows it with the hook going up through the upper slot. So I'm just going to rest it on there, start it through like so. And then I'll take this piece and get it in place. See if I can get it. There it goes. And I'm going to worry about getting this stuff affixed. So going a little out of order here, but I think it's actually worth it to get the thing pulled together a bit. Yeah, waxing might be a good idea for future pieces. But that actually holds it on the side like so. So now we can put in the lower ones. And the difference between the two lengths are that the long ones not only have to go around the outer piece, but it also has to go through this piece and hold this middle orbital gear set in place. Whereas the short ones have no such issue because they're not holding in an orbital gear. They're just there to hold this trim piece in place. Boy. There we go. This one goes up. See if I can get this on camera. You can actually see, well, come on. You can kind of see it there. There's a little split in the tip of this guy, and that's how much room it has for the plywood to flex to fit into its little holes. And these holes being laser cut pretty darn precise. So getting everything Can you hear me now? Yep. Getting everything in place is a little tricky because I kind of have to really squeeze them in by hand. Not so much that I think I'm going to break the plywood or anything. This little 1/4 inch stuff, as thin as it is, it actually holds up quite decently. But we now have the starts of a body. And then flip it around and do the same on the other side. So I've got to get this other 25 piece out. Do that. I think we'll probably end it there. Just because I have a very full day tomorrow. Though I might take a look at the hammer before I cut it off. Because while I love this little ball peen, little wooden mallet would be pretty nifty. Is that all of them? Yeah. Same deal with this. Got one side with the little square notches, one side without. One side that will hold the planetary gears, one side that will not. So I'm actually going to start with this off. Get that piece in. Because then, well, I say that. There we go. I can do that. Don't recommend you do that, but figure much easier to line 2 pieces up instead of 3. Then for my 26 parts, I just go like that. Boy, this thing's shaping up to be pretty small. Just light taps. Hence why I'm not even putting anything underneath it to support. It's just to help get it in the slot. All right. That is on. Oh, okay. And we'll look at that in a second. But some orbital gears, the side trim. If I had to guess, this thing might be about yay long. Yay long. We'll see. Then we take the part that we put together last time. It says use the wooden hammer, which I don't have assembled. Yeah, I do recommend using the wooden hammer on this instead of a metal hammer because, yeah, that, unless you have a lot of experience assembling delicate things, I don't really consider that worth it. Yeah, that's pretty nifty. Spins very freely. I mean, you can see. That'll turn nicely. Very nice visual effect there. You'll crank it by hand like this. And that'll turn that orbital system. I can't get over how smooth that works. For wooden gears that I really didn't sand a whole lot. I think next time I'll start off by sanding this flywheel. There's a little bit of wobble to that flywheel too. Might have to adjust it a little. Oh, that's a lot better. That's pretty nifty. But it's hot out here, guys. So let's look at this hammer. Put this back in camera a bit. You guys can see it. And 9 steps to put this thing together. Of course, you have to cut all the pieces out. Let's go ahead, attack this real quick. One. Okay, so parts 1 and 2 are what I need, and those are what I'm cutting. And these have little serrated teeth on them. Okay, so they fit together. So you can see they go together like this. But if you just had 2 straight sides here and here, and here and there, or here and up here, you'd slide them together and they wouldn't stay. Whereas with this, they've actually put serrations on it. And tell you that it needs to be like that. Downside of that is that's kind of tough to fit together by hand without a, well, persuasion instrument of some type. I don't know what those are called, but I'm pulling that apart pretty good force and it's not moving. That's pretty nifty. Little serrations really work. Then parts 3 and 4, same deal. Give you a little bit more meat to the handle of the hammer. Yeah, I don't know if you can even see. Yeah, it doesn't even come across on camera. Even with the 1080 camera, you can't see how these serrations work because they're super, super fine. I'm sure if I had an SLR or something out here, I could get it focused in just right, but these webcams only do autofocus and thus are poo-poo. This one fits together by hand, for the most part. Then we end up with a hammer handle, mallet handle, whatever you want to call it. That is about half an inch thick instead of just a 1/4 inch. And then we take 5 and 7, which have 3 sets of teeth as opposed to 2. And you can see it's these little E and C shaped pieces right over here. Flip it to the back side so I can see the tabs holding it on. Is it really just hold in place by 2? No. So it might only be 3. Yeah. 5 was held in by 3 tabs. 7 has 1, 2, I only counted 2 tabs on 7. I think there was a 3rd. Either that or it was just really tight. Yeah, there was a 3rd. This shows holding it like that. Oh, I see. And these have serrations on their teeth as well. And the idea behind that is you put one in on one side and the other in on the other side. Those little teeth will lock together. Kinda would rather squeeze this together on the vise or something. Help get even pressure across. One, two. Not trying to clamp one end before the other. I'm trying to get one little notch on each before I, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Simply so that it doesn't snap these little pieces. Then we've got 8 and 9, which are, no, 8 and 6, which are the smaller versions of 5 and 7. So there's 8. Guess I should cut it from this side. That would make sense. Come on. There you go, little guy. Got it. Three tabs on 8. I'm guessing 3 tabs on 6 as well. One, 2, 3. Is that all of it, or did I miss one again? Can't tell, but let's just break it out. Nope. 3, 4. For all the compliments I'm giving these guys, they should stay consistent with how many tabs they're holding stuff in place with. And these have the little teeth as well. They just kind of fit together like that. So it's going to be important for me to note which side this fat side goes on, which goes towards the bottom. Then just gently tap one end. Then tap the other. I actually put this in backwards on one side. Don't think it's really going to matter. You could see, yeah, if I had flipped it around the other way, it would have been better. Oh well. I could try to pull it apart, but for a disposable mallet, who cares? So we've got some part 11, which is these skinny little guys, and a 9. And the head is made up of a bunch of 9s and one 10. The only difference between 9 and 10, as far as I can tell, that 10 has the UGEARS logo burned into it. Gotta get that branding. Ah. Important to note that if you cut this with a knife, you want to cut with the blade going away from any grain that it could cut into. You know, the grain on this piece is going like this. If I'm cutting a piece that's going up and down like this, not a big deal. If I'm cutting along this curve up here, focus, focus. I want to make sure that the blade is cutting up and away so that it doesn't cut into the grain, because it will always try to follow the grain of the wood despite your best efforts. And let's cut out all 3 11s. 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2. These pieces may look straight, but they're actually dog-boned a little, meaning they're fatter on the ends. There you go. Come on. And that's because you have that little split in the middle. and it will actually compress just a tiny bit when you put it in. So it shows this going like this, so I'll just hammer it on a little. Gee, seems like I need a hammer an awful lot to make a hammer. A little silly to me, but whatever. That's step 6. Step 7 is take all the 9s and put them on. Probably be good if I tried to keep this thing relatively straight. Move the mic away. Beard's scratching a bit. Sorry about that. Turn the blade to go away from the grain. Pop. Turn the blade to go away from the grain. So it cuts the grain instead of the piece. Yeah, I mean it shifts a little. It'll probably stiffen up when I put it on the handle, which I believe is what the last parts, number 12, are for. They're actually wedges. And I'm going to hammer these through so they stick out evenly on both sides. Oh, that's a little too far. Not the most secure thing. So this is kind of like how real hammers have their handles put on. I forget what they call this. It's not a tang, because the tang is what this is. This is what goes, or what this is. This is what goes through the head. But just like a real hammer, the wooden handle goes through the head, and then they put a spike or a wedge in there. And people will think, oh, well, the wood split there, and that's not supposed to be there, or whatever. It looks like it's been fixed. But no, that's actually how they do it. They do the same thing for axes and everything else. So with this, handle goes like this, goes over. I've got a little mallet. But there are some 12 pieces. Looks like 3 of them, and there are 3 on here that are my wedges. When you push these wedges down in, they actually will hold that head on firmly, because I'm sure I could swing this enough times that it'll work its way off. It shows my wedges. You know, they look very straight on camera, I'm sure, but the side with my index finger is just a little bit thicker, maybe a millimeter or 2. And I'll hold on to it by the thick side. It goes in, just becomes a nice little wedge. Of course, this shows like 2 or 3, but you only need 2 to go in. They probably just provide an extra. So I take that, and it goes in, and it just pushes that out. And I mean, no matter, I've really got to put a lot of force on that to break it free. And what I'll actually do is I'll take one of these pieces of scrap with the hammer, really put that wedge down in there. I'm not hitting it hard, just enough to force it in there a little. Yeah, that'll work nice. I mean, even if it's not something that I'm going to use regularly, a little lightweight hammer could be useful from time to time. You know, put it on the back of a chisel or a knife or something if I'm carving something delicate. Happens a lot when you're routering, like an inside corner, like a dado on an inside corner. And what do we do tomorrow? Or whenever I stream next? Oh, it looks like we'll be doing the top, or no, the bottom of the hurdy-gurdy. So much fun. So I'll go ahead and I'll get that piece out. That's piece 3. And then 7, which I believe is this piece. Yeah. So I'll have these 2 pieces, and I'll have some pieces to cut out of there. And we'll actually take this large bottom piece and attach it, well, to the bottom. That'll really stiffen up this frame. 1152. Why not? I'll go ahead and do it now. Because I don't need the bottom open to sand that flywheel. Rotate the knife, go, make sure you're not cutting into the grain. Need to learn to follow my own rules. Rotate the knife, don't go into the grain. I think that's it. Ta-da! Of course, they put all this in. You would think it would make more sense for this to go on first or something, because it actually holds the side on rigidly. Test out this new hammer. It works. These lined up. Boy, this thing, with how light it is, I wonder if it's doing more damage than good, but seems to be doing okay. And I honestly would rather get a scrap of wood or cardboard. Let's see here. Got a little cherry offcut. Still too thick or too wide. Put that there. The reason you use the offcut in between and hammer on that is so that you don't actually mar the wood. And I'll just drive these home with a little bit of hand pressure. This will really hold it together nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. Yeah, it'll probably be about yay long. Hold it here. Yeah, that'll be about right, because I can hold it like this and crank on it with this hand. Rest it on a knee. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm calling it a night. Gonna just pick up a bit and go hit the hay so that I can do some real good work tomorrow. Boss is back from vacation tomorrow, so I can't be too. Boss is back from vacation tomorrow, so I can't be too terribly late. And eventually, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do to prevent all this headset cutting off nonsense. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.